Guys, if you found a great vintage Louis Vuitton bag at an awesome price, but it has what we call a sticky Tarry interior pocket, no fret, because today I'm going to show you step by step how I clean out my vintage Louis Vuitton sticky Tarry pocket. And you know what? Anyone can follow these steps. It's even beginner friendly. Now, before we get started, I just want to preface this by saying, now I'm no leather care expert. I'm just a vintage Louis Vuitton handbag obsessed Aussie that loves to buy vintage handbags, clean them up and use them. And today, these are the steps that I personally use. These are the products that I personally use, and they're easy enough for me to follow with confidence. But I will say it is a very time consuming and messy process. So if you just want to put aside a chunk of hours, or you can even split this up, you don't have to do the whole thing in one day if you want. And I'll be using a mix of regular household items such as paper towels, Q-tips, or what we call cotton buds in Australia, sticky tape. This is the wide sticky tape, but you can use whatever sticky tape you have. Plastic food wrap, also known as saran wrap, glad wrap, cling wrap, whatever you call it in your country. We call it glad wrap or cling wrap. Gloves, and baby powder. And this is optional, a mask. It can be any type of mask, but this is more so for people who are really sensitive to smells and can get headaches. I ended up needing to use one halfway through the video because I did start getting a headache. Now, the chemicals I've used, you may need to buy, or you may already have something similar at home, but you'll need a solvent. So my preferred solvent is the Planet Arc orange oil. This is very similar to like Goo Gone or Dissolve It, and it has an orange smell. I think it's made of orange peels. But if you don't have this, another alternative you can buy is acetone. Acetone you can easily get from hardware stores, or maybe people already have it laying around because they use it as a nail polish remover. Cleaning solution, my product that I use is called LA's Totally Awesome, which is actually really difficult to buy in Australia, really easy for people in the US, but in Australia you can only really get it on Amazon. So in this video we're going to be covering 6 sections. Section 1 will be protect the surrounding areas of the bag because it's going to get very messy. Section 2 will be cleaning out the sticky Tarry melted vuittonite. Section 3 will be removing the protective wrap and tape that we placed in section 1. Section 4 will be cleaning up any residue that got onto other areas of the bag. Section 5 will be airing out the clean pocket. Section 6 will be deodorizing the clean pocket. Reminder, if you're using any product on your bag for the first time, always do a test patch on an inconspicuous area in case you don't like how the product works and you have not ruined your entire bag. Okay, so let's go. So what we're working with is a 1994 vintage Louis Vuitton Epi Leather Dragon men's clutch. This is in the Capango gold color, and I got this for Christmas 2023, and it was all in really good condition on the outside and the inside, minus this really tarry sticky pocket. So this was so bad to the point where the zipper was really difficult to open and close, and even if I had just touched the zipper, even from the outside, it would leave a tarry residue on my fingers. And when I could get the zipper open, I could really only see the top quarter of the pocket because the rest of the pocket was completely stuck together. So step 1, let's protect all the surrounding areas of the bag. So in this section, you only need 2 things: the polyethylene food wrap, also known as saran wrap, glad wrap, cling wrap, and sticky tape. So here you want to protect all areas of the bag that's adjacent to the opening of the pocket. In my case, I have a zippered opening, and you want to extend the protection down all the way to either the entire bag or at least halfway down the bag. For me, I did just halfway down the bag, but if you would prefer to do the entire bag, please do so. So I used the plastic food wrap to protect the flap of the bag. Then you want to anchor down the wrap using tape. So I anchored mine down right to the edge of where the zippered opening of the pocket will be. And for the other awkward areas, such as the inside of the bag, I taped all along the edges from the zipper all the way down to halfway down the bag, including covering the glazing along the top edges. Needless to say, despite all your best efforts in wrapping and protecting the bag, do expect to still get minor residue stains on areas of the bag, but if you pick them up quickly, you can easily get them off. So don't panic if you find residual tarry stains. It's gonna happen despite your best efforts, because inherently this is a very, very messy job. So don't panic. Now, the mistake I made was I didn't wrap the back of the bag properly, and I regretted it, and halfway through the video I ended up fixing that up. So you should wrap the entire area, unlike me. Step 2, clean out the sticky tarry melted vuittonite. So you'll need a solvent. I use my Planet Arc orange oil, but I did use the acetone here and there. paper towel, gloves, Q-tips, cotton buds is what we call them, and a mask. So if you're very sensitive to smells, put your mask on here. I did not, and I ended up getting a headache. So I should have put my mask on in the beginning, but that's completely up to you. So this step is optional. I decided to cut my paper towels into quarters so that I have smaller pieces to work with, which is easier for me. So put your gloves on and put your mask on if you like. Now my zipper was very difficult to open because it had all sticky tarry gunk all along the inside and outside of the zipper. I had to first start cleaning the zipper. So I applied a small amount of my solvent, which was my Planet Arc orange oil, onto the Q-tip, and I started rubbing the hardware on the outside of the zipper. Now, if you don't have a zipper opening, that's fine, and you can just skip this part. So be careful not to get any of the solvent onto the leather or canvas of your bag. But if you do get some on, just don't panic and just quickly wipe it off. So once I was able to clean the zipper on the outside, and you don't have to clean it the whole way, you just want to clean it enough so that you can get the zipper open. I was then able to start cleaning the gunk off the back of the zipper teeth. Again, you don't have to clean it till it's fully clean. You just want to clean a majority of the gunk off. Then you can just move on to the pocket and you can finish off the zipper at the end. I'm wetting the paper towel with my orange oil and I literally just stick my hand in there and start rubbing. Look at how black the residue on the paper towel is. Like, this is pretty disgusting. So I pretty much just keep repeating these steps over and over again. Get a fresh paper towel square, put solvent on it, stick my hand in there, rub, and throw away the paper towel and repeat. So I do this over and over and over again. Now, eventually I'm able to open the pocket far enough that I can pull the pocket inside out. Now I lay a layer of paper towel down so that I can rest the pocket on it. Even though I've already protected the bag with my saran wrap or glad wrap or cling wrap, whatever you want to call it, this is just an extra layer of protection. Now that I have the pocket inside out, I can more easily start to rub down the lining. Now you can see this is getting pretty messy. I've got like residue everywhere. So that's why I used an extra layer of protection using that paper towel that I laid down. This part can take hours and hours and hours. So if you need a coffee break, you need to go pick up your kids from school or make lunch or make dinner, go ahead. Just put everything down and come back to it later. It's better that you take your time and do this with attention to detail rather than try to rush it and then be unhappy with the result later. So the areas which are most difficult to clean and therefore require the most attention to detail and unfortunately are the most time consuming are the underside of the lip of where the pocket opening is. So in my case, it's where the zipper opening is, the side and bottom edges of the pocket lining, and also the corners of the pocket lining, particularly where the zipper is. So those areas are the absolute worst and most unpleasant to clean. All in all, these steps are not difficult to follow, but it is messy and time consuming. So at this point, you can see we've made good progress on this side of the pocket because you can start to see the fibers of the textile which lives underneath the Vuittonite. You can see the colors changed from a black tarry color to a more gray color. So at this point, I started to get a headache, so I put my mask on. And again, you can see we've made good progress because the thickness and opaqueness of the residue on the tissue has actually reduced. So I'm going to stop here now on this side. I'm going to flip the pocket over. And again, I've laid down a layer of paper towel to rest the pocket on. Okay, so it's about here that I regretted not wrapping the entire flap properly. So I'm just going to fix that up here. Again, I just repeat all the steps that I followed on the other side. Get a fresh paper towel, put some solvent on it, stick your hand in, rub, throw away the paper towel and repeat. So you should just keep cleaning until you're happy with how the pocket is. So periodically you can take your gloves off and do a touch test. What you're touching for is to see if there's any residue on your hand, to see if there's any stickiness. Even if there's still residue on the paper towel, if you're happy with how it is because there's no longer any residue on your hand, or there's no longer any feeling of stickiness, you can stop there. How far you go with cleaning is completely up to you. Don't let my video or the way I do it dictate where you clean up to, because how far you clean it is a personal preference. So I just stop once it no longer feels sticky and tarry and once it stopped leaving residue on my hand when I do the touch test. But you clean as far as you're happy with. Okay, step 3, remove the protective wrap and tape. So at this point, your gloves should be pretty dirty. So you can either just take them off or take them off and replace them with a fresh set of gloves. So that's up to you. For this step, you don't really need anything, but you can use scissors if you like. So remove all the tape and food wrap. Step 4, clean up any residue on the bag. So for this step, you'll need 3 things. A cleaning solution. I use LA's Totally Awesome. Q-tips, and keep wearing your mask if you like. That's optional. So you want to inspect the entire bag for any sticky residue. Like I said in the beginning, don't panic because most likely you will find minor stains here and there, but the faster you find them, the easier it'll be to remove. If you let it dry, most likely to be harder and require more scrubbing. So all you have to do is just soak your cotton tip in LA's Totally Awesome and rub until the stain comes off. More stubborn stains require more rubbing, but fresh stains will come off quite easily. Step 5, air out the clean pocket. So you don't need anything in this step. All you have to do is just simply let it air out. I would leave it for at least an hour, but if you have more time, you can leave it overnight as well, because sometimes the smell of the chemicals takes a while to dissipate, or particularly if you're very sensitive to smells. I left mine for just an hour, just for the purposes of making this video. Step 6, deodorize the pocket. So for this section, you'll just need one thing, baby powder. Sprinkle baby powder onto the pocket to help deodorize it from all the chemicals we've used. This also helps to coat any remaining sticky residue. Again, leave it for at least an hour, but if you've got more time, you can leave it overnight. Once you're done, you can either brush or dust off the baby powder. You can either use a brush or you can just use your hand if you want. And do another touch test on the pocket to make sure you're happy with it. Also, smell the pocket. If there's still a smell that's too strong for you, you may want to continue to leave it to air out for longer. So here is the final before and after. So you can see here, I can comfortably put my hand in there now and not have any residue on my hand. So this is what the final product looks like. The further you clean it, the lighter it goes. So really, could I have cleaned this further? Yes. But am I happy to stop here? Yes. If I ever change my mind and I want to continue cleaning it in the future, I can. So it's completely up to you how far you clean it. But as I said, the most important parts are the corners, the edges, and around the lip of the pocket. They're the hardest areas to clean. So the final summary, step 1, protect the surrounding areas of the bag. Step 2, clean out the Tarry sticky melted Vuittonite. Step 3, remove the protective wrap and tape. Step 4, clean up any residue that got onto the bag. Step 5, air out the cleaned pocket. Step 6, deodorize the clean pocket. Now, if you actually have a sticky Tarry pocket that's at the back of the bag and it's facing canvas, I actually have a separate set of instructions for that, which I'll be making in the future, so watch out for that. So let me know in the comment section, do you have a bag with a sticky Tarry pocket that needs to be cleaned out? If you do, tell me what that bag is in the comment section. And if you have any other suggestions to impart on the audience as to what products to use or what steps to follow to clean out a sticky Tarry pocket, or if you want to add anything to my instructions, please leave it down in the comment section. Now, if you want to know how I clean, polish, and refurbish the outside of my vintage Louis Vuitton bags, I'm going to leave the instructions here. And if you want to see how I polish the hardware on my vintage Louis Vuitton bags, I'm going to leave the instructions here.